Mr. Pawan Goenka is right there. Mr. Goenka, hi, afternoon. Thanks for joining in today on ETNow. More hands in the, or rather more money in the hands of the consumer. Is it going to be more M&M cars on the roads then? Are you happy with the budget?
Well, obviously the income tax reduction that has been done, it's more for the middle class, and the total benefit may be of the order of 30, 40, 50,000. That is good for sort of small ticket consumer items, and those sales will go up. For cars, it may make a marginal difference, but I don't think it directly will have a huge difference on demand for cars, especially given that in the next couple of months, the prices will go up.
A very quick take from Maithili on this. Maithili, we've not looked at the fine print. The entire budget document is just about to hit our mail in moments from now. You always use this terminology of watch out for smokes and mirrors. What could be the smoke and the mirror in this budget? Why do you think the assumptions for FY21 will get challenged?
Well, for me, the main doubt really is about the disinvestment target of 2.1 lakh crores, because this year's was 1.05 lakh crores and we've achieved just about 18,000. So given that, and given the fact that disinvestment is always part of the government's policy, and they've been so ridiculously slow to really act on it, I'm very skeptical over that 2.1 lakh crore. And that's a humongous amount, because unless the economy really recovers, we're going to see the same shortfall in revenue receipts next year as well as this year. Of course, the increase in the GDP growth that we've got, the bump up that we got yesterday, courtesy the revision might help. But at the same time, I think this is a very worrisome number of 2.1 lakh crores, 90,000 crores of which is strategic disinvestment. Now, I'm not sure that the government really will do it, given the kind of political opposition they seem to have run up against. So that is one big really worry for me. The other worry is really is that if you look at the revenue deficit, it's still very high for the next year. As much as 77% of our fiscal deficit for next year is revenue deficit. So I think the opportunity to improve the quality of your fiscal deficit, which is sorely needed, that seems to have been given the go-by. So I think these two things, and one last thing, there's no money set aside for recap bonds for public sector banks. Given that public sector banks will have to increase their provisions, we've already seen the RBI's financial stability report, which said that the NPAs would go up. I think we'll find the PSU banks falling short of required capital and may not lend.
Right. Okay, so Mr. Goenka, you said there is going to be more money at the hand of the shareholder. The taxpayer will have more money now. But where do you think this budget has lacked or has done something special to fix the basic challenge? The basic challenge is investment has broken down, consumption is not there, exports have plateaued, and government spending is measured. These are the four basic issues, Mr. Goenka. Where do you think this budget has done something different to address it? Because whatever allocations are there, Mr. Goenka, they are all incremental. Little bit here, little bit there. There is no big departure from the last year's budget, excepting last year's budget taxes went higher and this time taxes have come lower, at least on the personal tax side.
Well, I would have to say that while there have been good focus on the three themes that the finance minister talked about, the aspirational India, economic development, and caring society, those are very well articulated. But where the budget perhaps should have done more is how to revive demand. And as we have been saying all along, that the biggest concern right now for the economy is how to get the demand cycle going. And there have been a lot of indirect things here, but at least right now, without seeing and going to detail, it's only 10 minutes. Without going to details, I don't see that big sort of thunder that could potentially sort of give a fillip to the demand. There are a few things talked about in how to increase manufacturing, but that's again on the supply side, and that will not necessarily increase the demand. So the three things about the government expenditure, about the more money in the hands of the customers or people, and infrastructure push. So government expenditure will probably go up, but like you said, it's not something very big. Maybe the 3.5% should have been taken to 3.7, 3.8% to allow the government to spend more money. As far as income tax is concerned, I still don't know how the math would work out, because exemptions are being taken out, and for people earning up to 15 lakh, I don't know whether exemptions benefit will be completely offsetted by the reduction in the tax cut. We'll have to do the math and see what the benefit would be.
Mr. Goenka, you know, the big issue in the economy was not just the slowdown, but also that liquidity was completely jammed. Do you think the budget has done enough to address that issue?
The export issue, you said?
No, just liquidity overall in the system, sir.
Liquidity. Yes, there have been few things that have been talked about, but I cannot fully make out from that on how much impact it would have. And again, one will have to go through some analysis of that. I think the issue was on sort of in the radar, and I cannot right now say whether enough has been done.